Hello my friends, so today I'm gonna teach you how to add lightning to your maps. Check this out. This is as usual a request that I've gotten from a subscriber. Pretty cool effect. Obviously you're gonna have to add some sound, like thunder, lightning, and we can control when the lightning is gonna appear, when it's gonna show up, and you can also make it bigger or smaller, and whether you want it to go from the ground up, from the skies down, maybe horizontally for some kind of different effect. So let's get into Hammer. The first thing that I have right here is this is the main map, and so you're gonna have to create a 3D skybox, or you can add the effect right here. You don't necessarily need to do this on the 3D skybox, but I have the 3D skybox that I created right here. So you're gonna add an info particle system, and here you have this lightning type of effect. I can use the to reset particle effects. There you go. Now the problem is obviously how do I control or make it so that the lightning goes in the direction that I want. So that is easy to solve with the use of these two entities, the info target. So you create one called targets 2 and target 1. And on the particle system, you're going to scroll down to control points, and obviously control point 0 is target 1 and then target number 2. Now you're going to give your particle system a name. In this case I'm going to call it lightning. And so this way the lightning will be projected from target 1 to target 2. There you go. So you can make them bigger, smaller. Effects is going to be projected across. You want to compile the 3D skybox this way. You just compile it. And now let's go back to the main map. And again, you don't need to use a 3D skybox. You can do this, add these effects in your main map. So you see, I'm going to add them here as well. So you see that they work whether you add them to the 3D skybox or not. In order to avoid conflicts, we're going to call these targets main because it's on the main map. And this particle system, we're going to give it a different name, called it lightning main, so that there's no conflict. Target main 1 and target main number 2. So here we have this main particle system. So now when I restart the particle system, I can see the two effects, the one on the map and the one on the 3D skybox right there. So the next thing you need to add is a logic timer, because we want this to be played use random time. So minimum 1 second, maximum 4 seconds. This is what I used. You can use something different, of course. And then on output, you want to target the lightning. It says there's an error because we're targeting the lightning entity on the 3D skybox. So start immediately, and 1 second later, you want to stop it. And we also need to target now the new entity that we created, lightning main. So that way we are going to be able to see the two lightnings play at the same time. So that way you can see that the effects is going to work whether you have a 3D skybox or not. Now of course on the 3D skybox it looks much better because it looks more like lightning. If you grab these point targets and you stretch them like this, yeah, the effect of lightning is gonna show up, but it's more like an electric shock as opposed to the one on the background that is like an actual lightning, you see? But anyway, let's compile them up so we see these two effects. There we go. So that's the lightning on the 3D skybox and also here on the main map. Now you see the one on the main map appears blue. The one on the 3D skybox, even though it's the same effect, for some reason loses the bluish effect. I don't know if it's related maybe to the MB Sky that I'm using or the Light Pro volume. But either way, so you can clearly see the effect is very, very cool. Very, very nice. You can make it bigger or smaller like we did on the 3D skybox. Now obviously the next thing to do is to add a sort of light on the surroundings so that it turns on and off. And finally, to add sound, you're going to create a point sound event entity, call it thunder sound, and here you're going to type thunder, and here you have all sorts of thunder sounds. I'm going to go with this one. Ignore this message, you see okay. So now we're going to call this sound event thunder sound start sound. Thank you for watching and see you next time.